Something I think is really helpful to do when you're um, trying to learn music theory and just get better at guitar is to learn the chords in some of the most common keys. And one of those is definitely the key of C major. So I'm just going to hold up a picture of the chords in the key of C major and then show how to play them. I think it's worth writing this down. I'll put it in the description. What those Roman numerals are is that's sort of an abstraction. Like as you progress with music, or if you take some music theory classes, people talk about chords in terms of Roman numerals, and that allows you to change keys easier and to memorize chord progressions easier. I actually you start to think in terms of those Roman numerals. Like 145 has a lot of significance to me. That would be the CFG in this case. So if someone told me, let's make a happy song using a 145, I would know exactly what they meant, and then I would want to know what key they wanted to play in. So in the case of C major, 145 would be CFG, but if we switch keys to, say, A major, then it would be ADE, or D major would be DGA. So I like if someone also said, let's play let's add the 6th chord in there. If we were in the key of C, I would know it was A minor. If we were in the key of E major, I would know it was C sharp minor. So stuff like that. It just kind of allows for faster communication, and you kind of get what each other mean, and you don't have to think in terms of a single key. So I think it's worth writing that down, and the key of C is so common. It would just be the white keys on a piano. So it's really common on the piano, and it's on guitar. It's an easy key to play in, and a lot of songs are in the key of C. So it's C is the 1 chord, D minor is the 2 chord, the 3 chord is E minor, and those are lowercase because they're minor. Some people don't follow that convention. I like to do it because it stands out. And the 4 chord is F, the 5 chord is G. Those are both major, so they're capital Roman numerals. And then the 6th chord is A minor, and the 7 chord is a diminished chord, which is almost like a minor chord. So that's why it's lowercase, except that little circle represents diminished, or if you see it online or in a lot of charts, you write DIM. And the difference between a diminished chord and a minor chord is that a diminished has a flat 5 in it. So let me just show you how to play all these chords. So C major is 3, 2, 0, 1, 0, starting on the A string. 3, 2, 0, 1, 0. And one thing you want to make sure is that you mute this string out. A lot of beginners, that when I teach them this chord, they don't. It's totally normal when you first start learning guitar to not even realize you're making mistakes. So they'll just go. A lot of people don't even realize that sounds pretty bad. Listen. It sounds really muddy, and the note it's not dissonant really. It's bordering on dissonant, but it's just not very nice. So you just put your thumb here, or like I was doing right here, you can mute it with the tip of your finger. A lot of times I just keep my thumb here when I do C chord. So there's C. Next chord is D minor. So the 2 chord, that was the 1 chord, we're moving to the 2 chord. So it starts here on D. This note is D. It's 0, 2, 3 with your 3rd finger, and then 1. This actually feels weird to me to play D minor like this, because over time I've gotten in the habit of doing it with my pinky. Neither way is right or wrong, but the reason why I do it with my pinky more often is because a lot of times I switch like. That's a lot easier than going. You see how you can almost not even tell that I switched from C to D minor. So lately I've actually been forcing my students to learn it like this because a lot of people don't do it just because they don't want to use their pinky. There's D minor, 0, 2, 3, 1. The next chord is E minor, the 3 chord. This is like the easiest chord on guitar. 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, 0. Zero, 2, 2, and then just zeros. One thing, what's really good to realize when you start guitar is the top 3 open strings are an E minor chord. See if I take my hand away and strum the top 3, because I use that fact all the time when I'm playing guitar. Like, oh, the top 3 strings are E minor, so you can do stuff like. Stuff like that, because you know it's E minor. So it's a good fact to know. So then the 4 chord is F. The way I teach it, the way I first learned it was like this. A lot of books have it like this. I almost never use this shape. Like I do, but not very often. What I use more often is this. And then sometimes bar the top. So 3, 3, 2, 1. And then you can keep your thumb here and mute it. And then it's really easy to go from a C chord. So this is the 4 chord, F major. 3, 3, 2, 1. And if this is hard, just take a C chord. Then keep these outer 2 fingers down. Lift up your middle finger. Move it up 1 string, so higher. Then take your pinky and put it right above this finger. One of the best exercises you can do if you're a beginner is just go between C major and F major, because they feel almost the same if you play it this way. So once you can do F this way, the 4 chord in the key of C, which is 3, 3, 2, 1. The next way I would learn it is like this. I would go for the full bar chord. 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. I would just go straight for that. Because once you know the full bar chord, then you can play like the bottom of F. I do this all the time. Just up to this string, and I'm not actually barring the top. You can't really tell. But I don't have any pressure up here. Or you can do the top of it, like top 3 strings. I do this more often than I do this. Or you can do this 4-note chord. So I use this one the most for convenience. Or, I mean, you use all of them. Or I use the bar chord probably second most. So that's why I'd recommend doing that. But you also, like, this is a little triad, this one, top 4, these 3. There's tons of ways to do F. So I would learn it this way first. The next chord is G, and I would force yourself, if you haven't learned G before, to learn it like this. Everyone, for some reason, wants to learn it like this when they first start. It's fine, but it's a bad habit to only know how to do it this way. And the reason why is, notice, like, a lot of times you want to switch from C to G real fast, and look at the difference between this. It's almost like nothing, but if you go, that's a lot of work. And same thing like going C, F, G, which is a really common progression. Using that F I showed, the easy way to do it, and then G like that, it's just like so mindless and comfortable. I don't even have to move my thumb. I can just sit here all day. But as soon as you do G like this, it's a lot of work, and you're not gaining anything by doing that. So it's a bad habit to get into, because a lot of people learn this and then they refuse to do it this way. The time this is a good way to do it is if, first off, you need to stretch out. That's the only way to do it, because here this wouldn't work. But also, like, if you're in the key of G, a lot of times people go. So then it's real helpful. But so G, the way I'm showing it here, is 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3 with your pinky. And a lot of beginners have a hard time because they keep their thumb too low, and this pinky is like vertical, and it like curls up. So what you actually need to do is put your thumb up high. Like, you can even bring it up so high that it touches your middle finger, and then what happens is your pinky curls up, and it's really comfortable. So a lot of people don't realize how comfortable this G is until you get your thumb up here. Make sure this finger's free, not touching anything. So I would make sure to learn G this way first. Don't even bother with this way right now, just do it like this. So again, 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. So that's the 5 chord. So C, F, G make the 1, 4, 5 chords in the key of C, which are the most used chords in the key. in general. The next one is A minor, so you start here on 0. 0, 2, 2, 1, 0. My thumb's still here, it's muting this, but it doesn't really matter. This note doesn't sound that bad if you hit it with A minor. But a lot of times I just keep it here. Because listen, this doesn't sound like with C. It was really, really important to make sure you didn't hit. With A minor though, this note actually sounds pretty good. So, but most people, most time you want to strum from A here because it's A minor chord. That's the 6th chord. This is definitely after the 1, 4, 5 chords. The 6th chord in any key is the most common minor chord that's usually used. Unless you play jazz music, the 2 chord is the most used minor chord. But in like pop music, the 6th chord, I notice it way more. The 2 chord, except for like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters, in terms of really popular bands, I never see anybody use it. The Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters actually use a lot of more complicated, like unusually complicated chord progressions for pop songs. Then after that, the last chord is B diminished, and people don't really use this chord very much, but the easiest way to do it is like this. So what I'm doing is, like, if you know D major, you move it down one string every note and you slide it over, so it ends up being 3, 4, 3. That's the easiest way to do it. The way that you really need to do it if you want the root note in there, which is B, because this has F in the root, in the bass. So to actually make it like B in the bass, you have to do it like this, and it's really awkward. This is 2, 3, then I would set this finger up on 3 on the B string, and then pinky on 4. I never use this chord. I've never actually seen anyone use it in a song, so it's kind of worthless. What people actually do use is this. This is a half diminished chord. So I mean, I almost never see a straight up diminished chord, but this is somewhat used in classical, but like never in pop music, so it's almost never. 2, 3, 2, 3. It's used all the time in jazz. I mean, diminished chords are like everywhere in jazz music, but in terms of like pop music and rock music, I mean, to try to imagine a song that has. It's actually in the Foo Fighters, they use a diminished chord when they, in Pretender, they go. Right there is a half diminished chord. They're one of the bands that actually does some kind of unusual things. Like this is pretty weird. It's an A minor chord with B in it, which is like an A minor 9, I think, or A minor 6. I mean A minor 9. I just think it was A minor with B. Sometimes I don't really, with theory, I don't care about the exact chord names. Not because I'm lazy, but it's just sometimes it's not worth really worrying about it. So anyways, here's all the chords. C. Whoops. C major is the 1 chord. D minor is the 2 chord. Or do it with your pinky. E minor is the 3 chord. F, the 4 chord. Do it like that, like that. G like this. It's the 5 chord. A minor, B diminished, and C. But really, this is more useful for B diminished, B half diminished. Or you could call it diminished with the flat 7. That's more common. I mean, people actually call it, instead of half diminished, they call it a minor 7 flat 5. That's what most people. You hear that a lot more than half diminished. They mean the same thing. It's just kind of different ways to describe it. So. What's wrong with my cable? One chord, C, D minor, 2 chord, E minor, 3 chord, F is the 4 chord, G is the 5 chord, A minor, 6 chord, 7 chord diminished, half diminished, minor, 7, flat 5, B diminished, C. So it sounds kind of, it's a good exercise just to be like. Just pick random, like you could pick on the top. You just hold the chord down and just pick. I'm not thinking. Or you can just strum. So one more time, I'll hold up this picture, because these are, when I first learned guitar, I just would like write these down and just make up songs. Like I would just write down charts like this and just make up a bunch of stuff. Just like put it next to you and try strumming the chords together. But usually when I draw this picture for my students, I cross out the diminished chord, and then I circle the 1, 4, 5 and the 6 chord. Usually I would do like a different color for the 6 chord, but like I'll put like a box around it. Because these are the chords that you really would want to like mess around with more often. Like just play C, F, G for a while, and try throwing A minor in there. And once you got that, you could try adding the 2 chord and the 3 chord, and just ignore this altogether. I've like, aside from that Pretender song, I can't think of a pop song that has that chord in it. I'm sure there are, but it's pretty rare. So anyways, hope that was helpful, and maybe I'll do that for some other keys or get more advanced, because that's kind of the first step with understanding the chords for a key. But you can definitely take it like really, really far, even just using major and minor chords. So hope that was helpful. Okay, bye.